No, no. Here's what happened. My Windows freaking updated. Yep, and changed everything to the default. All right, can you hear us now? Doggone it, Windows. Windows had to update and it messed up my doggone intro. But anyway, folks, thank you for coming here. This is Al here over at One Man Indie, and you come here yet again for another installment in the RTP podcast. It's not about just me, though. It's all about these brothers here that come along with me. We have the originator and the creator of the podcast here, D757 Dark Man Gaming.
Yo, what's up, people? It's good to see you again.
We have the man that I affectionately call the Machine, Doug, at Cychronic Games.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me again
And
on this wonderful podcast.
And yet again, for the second time, but for the first time, because y'all didn't hear the first time, this is the inspiration of RPG Maker game creation for his generation and his nation, SG Harlequin.
Yo, take two. How's it going, guys?
Hey, thank you to everybody who came in today, and a shout out to Sarah Nerd Mansion. We got Novelty Songs, Ace of Aces. We've got Psycho Kitty Games, Coco, and DK Studios. Thank you for coming out today, folks. Now, today we're going to be discussing a game that I personally have been wanting to play for a very long time, and Doug actually suggested it, as a matter of fact. So at least both of us have been wanting to play this game. We got a chance to do so. It is Path to Ruin by Path to Ruin RPG, also known as, Brainwave, Brain 23 Studios, something like that, Doug?
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's get to the initial thoughts of it first, and I think I'll save me and Doug for last. Okay, so we're going to go with our resident German here. What were your initial impressions of it?
Initial impressions have been very good, but they dropped off very quickly as well. I really liked the dialogue in the beginning, like the humor they put in was kind of cool, so I wasn't like immediately bored with reading like I'm usually. Oh yeah, that's pretty much the oh yeah, and I like the music too. I guess that's good enough for the initial impressions.
All right, and now we're gonna go to the originator and the creator of the podcast. We're gonna go with D7 Dark Man Gaming.
Yeah, My impressions of the game, it was what it was. Visually, the game looks appealing and it invites people to want to play it and want to try it. And when you do try it, you are met with, expectations where you expected the game to be this way, but at the same time, there were some moments where the game lacked and struggled and needs a critical update, in my opinion.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right. So now, Doug, what's you, brother? What's your initial impression?
I had a chance to play this all the way through a couple months ago, but I also played it again before this podcast so I could refresh my memory. I thought that I did like the story. I thought that it was kind of a slow burn, but the burn was happening. And then just as I was really starting to get into it, then it's like, okay, day one is complete. The demo is over. And I'm like, no. But that's not to say that I didn't have some issues with it. And one of those issues, or the main issue for me, would be the like combat system gameplay parts. I thought that it was a little bit on the basic side, and there was some balancing issues here and there, and but that didn't prevent me from enjoying it. I think it's all stuff that can be fixed, but I did enjoy where the story was going. I only worry about whether the developer is going to be able to get it fully done or not, because the timeline of making an episode every 6 months and wanting to make 10 episodes or 10 to 20 episodes, that indicates that the game might take 10 years to completion. So that would be my only concern. But as far as like how it was presented cinematically and storyline wise, I thought that it was pretty good. Like, I liked it. And I hope that I'll have some good feedback for the dev today, so they can improve their game and make it better.
All right. Well, and then it comes to myself. Now, I will say the same thing that Doug says. I, for one, my initial impression of it, awesome game. The only problem I would say, again, it was pretty much the same thing, was a little bit of issue in terms of balancing in the combat. But other than that, I think the game has a lot of potential to be something pretty doggone awesome. I'm not even gonna lie to you. All right. So
I think so too.
That's my initial thought. Okay, so now we're gonna get down to the critical, the nitty gritty here. Now, D, I believe he played it. Aside from you and Doug, I think he played the game all the way through. I believe, right, D7?
Yes.
Okay. So now, based on what you've seen here and what you've played through here, give me your thoughts, your whole thoughts now on what happened.
All right.
Because I didn't want to watch.
We may also want to get the footage going.
Yeah.
I don't know why you keep forgetting that.
But doggone it, man! Look, I'm trying to do everything else here. Just stop, okay? Just calm down. Calm down, damn it. Jeez. Anyway, you were saying something, brother? Don't let this heathen genocide.
I'm gonna start when the footage starts. Pretty much. That way, people have a visual of what I've seen.
Okay, so the footage should be getting ready to start relatively soon. Takes a little bit, like about a second or so, for everything to start running.
1 second, 2 seconds.
1 parachute, 2 parachute. Captain Pete needs a new parachute.
2 years later.
All right, there we go. All right.
So I'm gonna start off saying, like, with this, game saying this made with RPG Maker NV, already you are introduced with beautiful cutscenes and mapping, unique mapping and stuff like that, and characters. The game didn't give you that long introduction like most games do, where the developer feels like they need to draw out a story and to reel in their players. In this game, it was relatively quick. You got in the battle scene fast. You were introduced with 2 unique characters and stuff like that, but at the same time, like when you have to go to the quarry and start mining for rocks, mining for gold and stuff like that, you were introduced with the battle system. I think the enemies were presented were a green centipede and a red centipede, or were they blue? That's when, you figure this game isn't balanced. This game is not balanced at all. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
Like,
really?
It was times where the centipede was one shot in my people. Like it was taking over 50% of my HP in one hit. You know what I mean? And I did die. In this game because of that. But at the same time, until you get your first skill, you're spamming the attack button. You're spamming the attack button, which I think is really bad in an RPG game, any RPG game. I feel like it's not in the 90s anymore or the 80s where those games, you didn't really start off with any skills. But, RPGs, it evolves over time. Even the game evolves, you know what I mean? Like, people could do more with a powerful engine than what they had back then. So I really don't understand why we still start our games without giving at least 1 or 2 skills to your MCs, to stay away from having to spam the attack button until 30-40 minutes or even an hour into the game. So as playing the game, you kind of understand why the developer didn't give us any skills, because the characters gain skills in different ways. Like the main character, he gains a skill by finding orbs on the map, where the Titan, the blue guy, gains skills by meeting gods and goddesses and getting their summon abilities. So I believe you get your first skill like 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes in the game, but it already took a toll on the aspect of the battle system and stuff like that. But I do want to say, once you get like 2 levels, the enemies start doing 1 HP to you. You know what I mean? They was doing 17, 18 the first time, but now when you level up 2 times, they start doing 1 HP. But the red centipede still do more damage. So it is some balancing issues going on with the battle system that could be improved, to make it better in the beginning, to enhance the gameplay in a way, but I mean, my experience with the game, I really had a great time. The music was awesome. The characters' dialogue was short and simple and funny, and it made sense without having to like explain everything like in a book chapter, you know what I mean? Like, so the developer really did a great job there. But overall, I mean, other than having to wait, a long time to play the next chapter and stuff like that, I think it's a pretty solid game, and pretty much everything is customized, which is really good for a commercial project.
Okay. All right. That's pretty fair. All right. So now, what were your thoughts, Harlequin?
Oh my god. I mean, I really like the art style in this game. Like, I think it looks really neat. I like the comic-y graphics it has. and I liked the dialogue. It was funny to read. It was short and sweet, and it got you into the game quick. So that was cool. And then we start out in this quarry, right? We were smashing some rocks, mining some gold. That's also cool. And then the combat starts. Like every other rock has like this fucking encounter with the centipedes, and one of them has a red centipede, and that red centipede just went and one-shot both of my guys in the same fucking turn because it attacked twice for some reason. And then it was game over. And yeah, the game has no autosave for some reason. I don't know why. And so I had to start over again because in 2023 we don't need autosave apparently. And of course, there's also no keyboard customization, which is, in my opinion, also an absolute no-go. Like the fucking plugin comes with the engine. There is zero effort involved in getting that in. Like it doesn't look nice. Like the N-Fly keyboard plugin, it doesn't look nice, but it works, right?
Okay.
So what's the excuse for not going into your DLC folder and literally just putting that into your game and activating it? That's it. There's no excuse in not having that.
Well,
yeah. Well, I mean, combat, aside from like the quality of life stuff, combat, like I played 1.5 hours and I didn't get any skills. Like the only skills I got was the 3 orbs you get after the first boss fight thing, and that's it. Like I haven't seen any other skills.
You didn't get stoned?
And No.
I got that. That was the first one I got.
Man, I was enthusiastically playing this game at first. Like I smashed all the rocks and shit, and I had a good time. But the more encounters I did, the heavier my index finger was, and by the end of it, it was just holding the action button down for the entire game, pretty much, because the encounters are quite a lot. To be honest, like there's an encounter every other step, really.
Really?
Like there's a lot of enemies on screen, like and they respawn quick. Like I've been in this puzzle area with the floating like tech looking platforms.
Yeah.
Man, I fought so many hydras on there just because I was waiting for this trap to switch over so I could move. Like I fought like 20 wyverns in there. Nah, not wyverns, hydras. And the fucking poison every other hit. Oh my god. Like it's not even worth like buying antidotes because you're gonna be poisoned the next battle anyway. So just leave it there. Yeah. I mean the story is cool, the art style is cool, but like the gameplay is not. Like and gameplay is king in the game, I would say. So I don't know, man. The combat just feels like, aside from it being pretty much just RPG Maker standard, I feel it kind of doesn't even need to be there. Like you could have done something else instead of having like this boring ass combat system in there. Why not give us, I don't know, related mini games or something? Like you do traps and all that, so why not, I don't know, focus the gameplay on, like, we start out mining, right? Because it's appropriate. We are slave creatures that mine for gold, so we're mining for gold. Why does there need to be combat? I don't know.
Because it's a dangerous world out there.
I mean, yeah, but it's not dangerous. It's just hold the action button down and hope that the creatures are balanced enough to not one-shot you. It's not dangerous.
I think having I was being a little sarcastic, but I think that adding a little bit of more, making the battles a little more strategic with some good action sequencing, because they just kind of hit the air from where they're standing.
Yeah, you know, it's vanilla combat. Like that's what I'm saying. The way the combat is right now, you don't need it. You could have done something different that's more fun. Alternatively, of course, just improve the combat system. That would work too. But right now, the combat system doesn't need to be there because it doesn't offer anything.
I see. Okay.
That's my point, right?
I do think that the combat system is the weakest part of this game. At the moment.
That's the only thing I didn't really like.
It's nothing. Like the boss fight, like the first one where you get the medic guy. I don't know. I fought every battle just holding down the action button. I've not used a single skill in this game. Aside from not having one, there also was no need to.
I used the skills. They kind of helped make some of them made the battles go faster depending on like if.
But that's not really anything necessary. That cannot even speak anymore.
And for me too. When I'm playing an RPG specifically. To me, the story matters more than the gameplay, even though I know not everybody is like that. So for me, that's kind of why I was able to get past the combat a little bit easier in this game because I was enjoying where the story was going. But I do think that it's important to do both, and I think that the making the combat a little more interesting and a little less like out of the box standard, I think would help this game a lot. Actually,
yeah. For me, it's like a 50-50 thing. Like, the story is interesting, yeah, sure, but it's not interesting enough for me to constantly be battling these boring fights, right? That's my problem. The more battles I have to do, and you do battle frequently, I feel, in this game. And every time I need to fight a battle, my curiosity for the story just drops a little bit. Because there's nothing enjoyable about the combat as of right now. Yeah. So every time I fight, it just drops. And the art is cool. Like, they have some cool boss art too. Like, it looks fucking sick. But
yeah, man.
They're not doing anything with it. It's just a fucking static picture again. Like, oh my goodness, get something going with that. They have some cool animations like that king or queen thing that did like the snow skill that builds like a snowman animation.
Okay,
that was cool, but they're not doing anything with it, and I'm like, and at that point, I stopped playing. Like I talked to her and I got the 3 skills, and then I pretty much stopped.
Really?
Jeez,
really? They're doing such a good job with the presentation, but the gameplay is just. The gameplay is like basic out of the box RPG. That's the gameplay of this game, and I hate it.
Okay. Well, I'll say this, right? I did initially.
Have you guys found any gear, by the way? I think I found one overall in the cave.
Oh, whoa! What the heck am I hearing there? Somebody.
Cychronic living next to the motorcycle, man. Well, I've seen on D7's stream he had like some gloves for the giant and whatnot, and I think I found like 2 chests with gear in that cave, and then that's it. Was there any more?
Yes. There in the town with the like castle and stuff. There was all kinds of like barrels and whatever you could smash open, and there was some gear that I found. A piece of armor.
Yeah, that's another weird thing. Like, why does it take so long to get anything, like to get some gear or any kind of skill? It's weird to me. Like, the introduction to your game should be one of the best parts of your game.
I think what the developer was trying to do in the beginning was trying to get their player to explore, especially in the quarry. Even though we was getting gold, it kind of gave you the idea that this game is going to be, you explore and get rewarded, which comes to be true because in this area, this is where you find the first skill stone for Mallet.
Yep.
Yeah, the area we had mining rocks because
bruh, you're Borgin, bruh. All I heard was resistance is futile. Say that again, please. You're Borgin. Hold on a second.
His mic is done.
Bruh.
What's going on? I'm showing fine on Discord.
Oh no. He done clocked out.
But what I was going to say was, when I played the game, right, I did kind of notice that the battles can be initially kind of hard. Initially. So, as you'll probably see here in this first part here, I did die once. And I think it probably was to
Hello.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
Is it working now? I only Discord disconnected for some reason. Everything else is still up and running. What the fuck? Is it working now?
Yeah, it sounds good now.
You good? Go ahead,
Fuck,
bro. Go ahead,
man. So I was saying this area we are in the footage right now. That's where I stopped mining all these rocks because it didn't seem like the gold had any use aside from selling it, and the battles so far have been like just auto attack and heal. Like so I stopped mining them because I don't know. There's no reason to.
Yeah, I died in this area initially, and I came back. But you know what? Even though I had to kind of go through everything over again, I didn't even mind it really. I didn't mind it. I enjoyed playing the game so much. I enjoyed like the world of the game. I enjoyed the overall story. And honestly, yeah, if I could have kept playing, I in fact I had to stop playing because there was I was in the castle area. Doug knows what I'm talking about. So does D7. I got to the castle area and I was exploring, and somehow the game lagged and like froze in that one area. I was like, oh, damn. So, but I think my initial problem with the game, is that there was a lot of lag in it in certain places, especially
I didn't experience lag.
I didn't experience lag either.
The only thing that lagged for me was the victory screen, the XP bars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a known problem though with the Yanfly victories. Like it happens in some project. There is one line of code at line, I don't know, 602 or 4 or something. You can delete that line and the lag goes away. Yeah, but it's a known problem with the Yanfly victory screen. But I had no lag otherwise.
I don't know.
What kind of lag were you experiencing? What did it look like or feel like?
It was just like for like the saves were like really slow. Sometimes it wasn't, sometimes there were. Sometimes certain scenes were gonna go on, they would either crash the game. And that happened to me twice when I played this. So I don't know, maybe something was going on with my computer. I don't know. But that's what I experienced with it. But aside from that though, now I will say this about battle, right? And you'll see this later on as the footage goes on. I got to the part where you go deeper into the cave and you have to battle these things called the what are they called? Mord something or other? The flowers. And this is after I got burned. And the burn only did like about a minimum amount of damage. Like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a flower. You're using fire. Why is this not more damage than what's going on here with it?
Yeah. I said something like that on my stream. I'm like, bro, we're doing what? 100 attack for regular damage.
I saw that, and fire did the same.
And I did fire, and it did less.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. And the thing about it is, Stone is broken. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Stone is mad broken in this game. If you really want the easy mode for this, get Stone the first time you can do so. You will breeze through just about every fight, more or less, with some little hiccups here and there. But you'll basically be able to breeze through a lot of the battles with that, because all you got to do is just stone somebody else. Then you have Barrow just double punch the other enemy to death, and then you can just go back and take care of the other enemy. So it's like
I don't think it's broken.
The combat in general seems pretty unbalanced, and totally completely. Like some enemies do barely any damage, and other enemies almost one-shot Barrow, and I don't know what's going on, man.
Hey, look, I don't think Stone is broken. I think it's, once you start fighting more mob enemies, it comes in handy. You know what I mean?
It is very.
So it
handy.
also rewards the players that actually look for it and got it. Even though majority of us got it on chance, you know what I mean? Because the path to get it isn't the path you actually take, for story wise. But Stone definitely makes things a lot easier. But it don't work on bosses as well. It don't work on bosses.
I don't know, man. Is it really a good idea to like give to make your first obtainable skill an optional skill that's missable? I don't think that's a good idea.
I didn't miss it. I mean,
if you're not exploring, then you deserve to miss it. To be honest.
No, not as your first skill. I mean, you play 1.5 hours with no skills because you missed the detail. Like, I don't know if that's a good idea.
That's how his characters grow. That's how the main character grow. Is with the
that's fine, but it would have been okay if I already had some skills. Why do I not have like some? I mean, I'm fighting with a mullet. Might as well give me some minor themed skills or some shit, right? Like, give me something. Then it would be okay if I missed Stone, but I had nothing. So missing Stone kind of feels even worse for no reason.
I think what the developer should have done was kind of guide the player to that area. That way the player would know, hey, I think some skills may be hitting and I could find these skills. You lead the player to that skill. Because
you gotta lead them on,
After you fight the first boss, you get those 3 extra skills. It could kind of be deceiving to the player that, hey, we only get skills after we beat certain bosses.
Yeah, that's what I thought exactly. Like, I wasn't introduced to the mechanic of finding skills randomly out in the open. There was no explanation for that, or no nudge in the right direction or anything. Like, I found 3 skills after killing a boss, so I was thinking I'm getting skills after fighting bosses. That's what I thought, and that was annoying because it took me like 1.5 hours to get to the first boss and fight everything else with the fucking space bar.
I don't know. I don't really think. Maybe it's because I actually did find it, so maybe that's the reason why I'm saying it. But I didn't really think that was too much of a problem. And the only thing I had was maybe like the skills, but I guess I didn't really mind the combat too much. I guess it did seem like maybe a little bit of a chore, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, for me it was a chore. That's why I ended up not caring anymore, because that's exactly what it was. When the combat is not fun, it's just padding to get more hours into the game. I'm interested in the story, but this fucking game keeps me from doing that, from experiencing the story with these constant unfun battles. And the more that happens, the less I'm interested in the story, and that's why I quit at some point. Like, it keeps holding you back for no reason.
Okay, well, so that's you. So for you, it was the battle that really drug everything else down, regardless of everything.
Yeah.
It was just the battle.
I could have been in the castle like 20 minutes in, but I was constantly stopped. Like I said, I was fighting at least 20 of these fucking hydras in where the floating platforms are, with the trap in the middle. I was standing there waiting for it to switch, right? And there comes a hydra along, and then another one comes, and the more I tried to dodge them, the more enemies surrounded me, so I had to fight them anyway. And the fight's always been like attack, heal, attack.
I think video games don't like you,
that's
bro.
not fun.
I think they don't.
It's just not fun.
I think it's you, bro. I don't think video games like you in general. I don't, because
to do attack. That's
no, wait. No, hold on, wait a second. No, and he was there and I saw that. Now, on my last random run Saturday, I named like 3 different characters after this man. And the other one, and every time I did it, literally, like on floor, like it happened like twice, on floor 1 of Rogue. Floor 1. He would just get automatically bodied. There is no, and I said to him, you can't blame me for this. The RNG did this, brother. I don't know, man. Somebody just said before Harlequin was born, and like everybody was making their games, something like that. They're like, you know what? There's gonna be some smarmy German bastards gonna come along and gonna talk about our games. Let's from this point forward, anybody that has the name Harlequin, we just crush them automatically with the RNG. Just automatically.
Man. Yeah, instantly happened in this game too, man. That fucking red centipede, man, just fucking one-shot both of my guys, like just like that. I couldn't even heal. I did not get a turn. It just attacked twice. Like, man.
Yeah. And here you go right here. That's when I had to stop because, matter of fact, I didn't even die in this game. Did I? Was there a game over in this game? Yeah, I did. I had one game over, but I think it was when I was fighting the Wessex, I think. It might have been that, but I had to start over again. But like a couple of times I've had it, but I honestly, even though sometimes I thought the RNG kind of was like a little lenient towards the enemies sometimes, I really still didn't really mind it so much. I said, okay, no problem. I got him next time. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't think the battle was the combat wasn't really all that bad. I thought that the party, especially Barrow, man, they were able to level up fairly well to meet the challenges that they were in. Like if you got to a new area, you were only, at least for me, you were only maybe about a level, maybe 2 levels away from basically coasting through the rest of the environment.
I think I was massively underleveled. Like when I noticed the combat isn't getting any better, I started skipping. I started dodging every fight I could.
Well, that's what happens,
by the time I reached the Hydras, they were taking like 60% of my health every hit. But on the other hand, I also one-shot them still for some reason, so I don't know how the fuck the balancing in this game works, because
there might be a lot of
everybody's one-shotting everyone. I don't know.
there might be some variance in the skills, like you know how like when you do an attack and you could say the percentage of variance. I do feel like there was a little bit of that going on, because sometimes it would feel like it would hit too weak or too strong, even if it was like the same enemy, and so it might be a variance.
It was weird, man. Like Mallet, I don't know. Mallet just pretty much constantly died. I
have that issue too.
Reviving him because doesn't do anything useful anyway. I just punched everything to death and it worked pretty well. But
punched everything. Honestly, I mean, maybe because I took on every battle. I think the ballot is pretty.
Man, I took all my gold in the tent. I sold all my freaking gold, and for all that gold, I just bought health potions, and that's how everything in the game went. Like I did a fight, I was almost dead. I used my health potions. And then another fight came, I was almost dead, I used my health potions again, I don't know. That's how the combat worked for me, like, everything is like almost one-shotting everything in this game, I feel like, I don't know. Except for Mallet. Mallet does nothing. Mallet is just there to die.
I don't know about that one, bro, because Mallet, I mean, when I played with Mallet was, I think he died.
I mean, I didn't have stone. I just could auto attack with the guy for like the entire game.
Even with the stone, you still get this is and D7 and Douglas will agree with me. When you get the bludgeon ring, you put it on, he gets to attack.
I did not get a bludgeon ring though,
because you didn't do any exploration, Bubby. I'm sorry.
I played for 1.5 hours and I didn't get jack.
I didn't find the ring.
Bludgeon ring. You get into Barrow.
You can't depend your entire game's balancing on a missable item, though.
I didn't find that ring actually.
You didn't find
it? No, I didn't. But I didn't have a problem. I tried to get. I focused on beefing up Mallet's defense with 2 accessories, the copper bracelets, and then I found a set of claws, some kind of claws that Barrow could wear, but I didn't find the ring.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I stopped at the castle, like the castle city. Maybe there was a shop for some gear. I don't fucking know. But up until that point, there was no rings or anything. I don't fucking know.
Jeez Louise, man. He just brute forced his way through the whole game.
You gotta explore.
That's what happens when combat is boring. I'm just gonna end up skipping everything because I'm not entertained. I want to see how the story goes. Like, your gameplay is garbage. All right, I'm gonna go and try and just progress the story as fast as I can so I can experience the good part of the game. But nah, you're gonna send me into combat every 4 steps, and
send me into combat every 4.
Yeah, man, it's just holding me back. Like, I'm not enjoying your gameplay because it's RPG Maker out the box gameplay. At least give me your story.
I'll be honest.
I can't even have that.
I didn't think the battle was. I don't know. Maybe I didn't really mind it because I was kind of more or less. It was a little bit of a challenge to the battles, and then after I got like maybe like a level, then I started just steamrolling them, and I started steamrolling them even more. So maybe I didn't mind it as much because my party was growing with every battle that I had. So I honestly think. Aside from
I don't think moving up XP bars is entertaining or fun or anything. Like, that's just basic RPG mechanics. I don't know.
Yeah, but
like if the game had at least some nice crisp looking action sequences or anything, so I would have at least had some eye candy during this boring ass combat. Maybe I wouldn't have minded it less. But there's nothing in there. It's literally fucking vanilla combat. Like, they might have give the centipedes a fucking spark skill. It's the same thing, but they don't even have anything. They just have attack.
That is where I found Algex right there.
I think a change of enemies would have been good too, like centipedes all around. It's kind of boring, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got cool enemy designs, but they all have 0 personality. They all can only ever attack. And of course, they're static enemies. Because why would you put effort into your enemy?
Come on, man.
You can have the dopest art. It's still a still image that can only attack. It has 0 personality. It has no themed skills. The Yetis don't. I don't know. It was trolls. The trolls don't regen or anything. What a troll would usually do. They're not throwing stones at you or whatever. Nah, they just attack.
I think that this game could really benefit from some action sequencing.
Yeah.
And maybe like if their enemies were SV sheets instead of the static image. I think it would add a lot to it. I think.
Yeah, you got these dope ass looking side view actors, and you're doing nothing with them.
And then you can have like all the little centipede legs like wriggling at once, all trying to fight you, and
you have all this custom art, but you ain't doing jack with it. Why?
The double attack, that's good enough, and swinging the mallet, that's actually
Man.
Okay. I see what you're saying. You're seeing it as basically if the enemies did more than just attack, that probably would have made things a little bit more interesting for you.
For me, you can fix this combat for me in 2 ways. Either you make the system more interesting, like by giving me skills. Like, even if you want to build like Mallet's personality around this dark spirit whatever theme that finds special skills instead of by leveling, you could have at least given me some like minor or slave related skills. We're fighting with a mallet, right? So give me like, I don't know, at least a heavy hit or a stun ability, hitting them on the head or whatever. Like, some more strategy is one way. On the other way would be give me something good to look at. Like, if the combat is as basic as that, at least give me like flashy action sequences to look at. Give me cool animations. Give me cool looking enemies that have cool looking moves. Like, you gotta do one or the other. Having none of both is bad.
Hey, Blade the Pie Eater said, man, you don't need animated enemies or action sequence just to make combat more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so all right. So now, from what you're saying here, I want to make sure I got it right.
I said those are two different things, though.
Okay, so but say,
I said do either or at least.
But let's say if he didn't do either and he just added skills that made sense for the battle, for the enemies that you're facing, and not just attack, would have helped?
Yeah, that's the first. That's the first option I named. Like, either make the combat more interesting or give me something nice to look at. Like, either or. Preferably both, but if you have no time because your episodes take 6 months to make anyway, might as well give me at least action sequence.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I can see how that can be boring. And I guess I was kind of thinking that because I kind of was saying like, okay, well, the enemies aren't really doing much more than just attacking. Because all it's just attack. There's no like,
stop that attack.
That's the thing. Like, if you can beat your boss, if I can beat your boss with just attacking and not even looking at the screen, your combat is ass. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I did beat the boss. The one where you have Steve on your party. I did beat the boss pretty easy just by using stone.
I just attacked. I didn't even care. I didn't even look at the screen.
I would have if it was me. I probably either one or two. It's one or two ways of balancing stone in a way. Either A, giving it not so much of a surefire chance of it taking effect all the time, if you're going to have it be a permanent through the battle thing, or give some kind of resistance to it, at least to your boss. If you can kind of cheese your boss out but just petrify him through the rest of the fight, it's not really. That's not really.
Yeah, it's not good.
Not really a boss fight. It's more like he's more like a mid boss at that point. Not even a mid boss.
It's just a bigger health bar.
Yeah, it's not really anything aside from that. So I think that was probably an opportunity missed with that.
I'm just wondering, like, what's taking 6 months per episode? I mean, it's clearly not the deep systems.
Oh, come on, man!
To my understanding, and looking at the developers' Facebook page, a lot of this stuff is done by hand and drawn.
Yeah, it's probably the art that takes so long. I can see that.
Take a lot of time. I can definitely say that.
The thing is, do you really want to wait 6 months for an episode though?
But like I said, I wouldn't even release this with one episode. I would wait at least I have at least 5 to 10, then release this as a beta. You know what I mean? Because one episode, I mean, I even said in the stream, how you know you're gonna be alive? You know what I'm saying? You might not be alive.
It's 10 years we're talking about,
That's
man.
What I'm saying,
and the early access is out right now. Like, in 10 years, man, I'm gonna have some augmented reality games, man. I'm not gonna play RPG Maker in 10 years.
5 years a long time, to be honest.
Man, we walking around with augmented reality goggles and everything in 10 years. Like,
but this
who's
game,
gonna play RPG Maker like that then?
This game could be really successful.
It could be. I really like the looks of it. I really enjoy the looks of it, and I like the music. But that's
RPG Maker VR.
Yeah, RPG Maker VR, man. But if we're making it VR, then it takes 12 months at least per episode, man.
But I do think that the 10 years thing is only just based on the math of how long that the developer was saying they wanted it to be, and how long they said it would take to do an episode. personally, I will play this game more, but I'm just gonna wait till it's done because what happened with the somewhat of a letdown when I played this chapter was that it was just starting to get good. Like I was just starting to I'm ready for what comes next, and then it's like, oh, it's over. Okay, I guess I'll wait, and so I'm just gonna wait till it's done and then play it then. But
so that's your opinion as a consumer, right?
Yeah.
So majority of people, they'll see the cool art, they'll see the asking price, they already know okay, this is early access, meaning that the game is still in development. You're going to play the game in its current state and there's going to be updates along the way. Okay, that's cool. But a person is only going to wait for so long. You know what I mean? The average person is only going to wait for so long unless it is like a big franchise game like Final Fantasy or Breath of Fire, or the Tales game, like a big franchise game where there's diehard fans and the fans will wait. And if they could grab the game at a cheaper price as getting the Earth, they would do that. But we're talking about RPG Maker where, there's smaller fans. There's not a lot of people that know about your game. Your game is competing with thousands or tens of hundreds of thousands other RPG Maker games as well. You got games that are completed. Then you got some games are early access, but majority of the time, they gonna go with the completed game because they want to play now. You know what I mean? So when you leave that message about, you're gonna get a chapter every 6 months, and there's 20 chapters, but we only on chapter 1. That's it. We only got 1 chapter, and there's 19 to go. So you telling me I'm only gonna get a chapter every 6 months, and you got 19 more to go? So when you do the math, a lot of people may not even jump on that because of the time frame. You know what I mean? So even if the developer, they're further along because the screenshots that they have, there's an extra battler, it's a female battler. The game looks good. They're in a different continent. It looks good. Like they're actually making progress, with their game. But at the same time, when you giving me 1 chapter and telling me I gotta wait this much time, it's gonna be kind of hard to retain my interest. You know what I mean? It's gonna be hard to retain my interest to keep tab on the game, especially you got all these other games coming out. So your game is gonna keep getting pushed back. Back to the back of my mind, because what if something happened in terms of developing? Like you can't make the 6-month quota. You know what I mean? Instead of 6 months, I gotta wait a year. You know what I mean? And if nothing is happening in developing, like if I'm the consumer, I'm like, he said there's 6 months. Where's chapter 2 at? You know what I mean? And chapter 2 ain't here. What's gonna happen? I'm going to demand a refund.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of tricky, man. Like that's really a big risk to take.
But I think even if that's a big risk, I think all he needs to do is maybe just tweak this first one a little bit. I think that would be enough that I think it can keep some folks interested in it, because he has enough here with just a little tweak to the combat. I think a lot of people would be interested in wanting to see more and more and more of what this story is and how it goes, especially if it's a reasonable price too. If it's a reasonable price, I don't think people would mind too much. Now I don't know how much this costs.
It's $4.99. It's $4.99. With early access, the price is you pay what you pay. So $4.99, you get every update free. It's like you own the game. Like he cannot charge us for anything else unless it's like, well, you just bought this DLC. You know, if he releasing DLCs, but he said he's not going to do that. But the price is going to go up. So he said it's going to go up for each chapter that's released. So this game could easily be a $20 game upon completion. You know what I mean? This could be a $20 game when it's done. So it is a deal breaker for buying it for $4.99. You know, it's one of those type of things where we buy something and you gotta think about it. 6 months from now, are you gonna remember this game?
Nope.
Be honest.
6 months from now?
Man,
6 months
I'm not
from now,
gonna remember this game like next week.
This game.
I mean, I think I probably still might. Man, because I did have a lot of fun with it, honestly.
If you want long-term payments over the years, man, just make a Patreon at that point. Don't sell this crap for early access. Who's gonna buy that?
I call cap on that. I call cap on that. One man indie.
I don't know
because
why.
The reason why I say that, is because you are a man with many content. So 6 months from now, you probably gonna play 100, 300, 400 more titles.
6 months from now, he's gonna play Dungeon Rummage Origins, man.
The only time you're gonna remember this game if it comes across your face. If you see it online or it comes across your face, or you probably say, "What about that one game we did? That what's that game called?" Then you gonna snap your fingers, try to remember what the name.
Like, you know what?
Like real talk. That's what happened. Like I thought I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest, man.
From my perspective, I'll remember it just fine. But I will hesitate to play it until it's done, and I'll just keep it. You know, it'll come across my face again later. It is true that you know, out of sight, out of mind. But then after a while, you see it again, and then that game, and like I'll remember it for sure.
And that's the only time you're gonna remember it. That game.
Well, right, but I mean, understandably too. You know, a lot of people have day jobs. Doing game development is kind of like when you can get to it, kind of thing. And even myself, I thought my next game would be done a lot sooner than it's turning out to be. But it's turned out better than I thought. But it's taken like 4 times longer than I thought to get it done. So I can kind of sympathize with that, I guess.
You know the reason why I say I still remember, I still probably would keep thinking about it, and the main reason why is because I'm still on this guy's Facebook thing, and he keeps putting out updates for it fairly regularly. So I guess if I will say this: if you're not following him, then it makes sense because you're not seeing it that often.
That was my point right there. That was my point.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if you remember it or not. Like, it's 10 fucking years, guys.
Hey, look, the developers just said, I'm working on ways to accelerate the dev process. But I'm new to this.
Yeah,
What's going on, bro?
We can all sympathize with the full-time job and everything. We are all like that. But, like, if you have no time to full-time dev your game, don't commit to a 10-year dev cycle for a game. What are you doing? Like, the longer an early access runs, the slimmer are the chances of it actually being completed ever. Like, who knows, man? You could, in 10 years, anything could happen. Anything. You could lose your fucking hands, and I'm not gonna get my fucking game just because you had an accident. 10 years is a long time. Anything could happen. So I'm not gonna buy a game that's in early access for 10 years or 5 years or even 4 years. It's not gonna happen.
I don't know, bro. I mean, people been playing around and messing around with what is it, Dwarf Fortress. You know what I'm saying?
Dwarf Fortress, as far as I know, is highly modifiable though.
See, my thing is,
If I'm not mistaken,
look,
it's a
look,
sandbox game, is it not? It's wholly different than a story-based game.
But it's something that people still waited for a long time before we got to that 1.0 though.
Yeah, but you can still play it. Like, there is no limit to Dwarf Fortress. You can just play it. It's a sandbox game. You can do whatever you want with it. It's not a one-time play. It's not a one-time story that's being told.
But you did. But you didn't
play
specify
this game.
That. You didn't specify.
Play
that.
this game. One episode. You ending on a cliffhanger. Waiting for 6 months to play another 2 hours and waiting on a cliffhanger again.
You're not gonna remember it. That's what I'm saying. You're not gonna remember what happened in that story. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna remember it like the cliffhanger.
Right. You're gonna replay this game from start to finish every 6 months, man, because you can't remember Jack.
No, you're not. Come on, man.
Man.
It was games. Hey, look, there's games on my channel. There's games on my channel that I ain't played in like 5 months. I forgot.
I'm not. I don't even want to throw shade at the dev here, man, because we can all relate to the struggles of having enough time to dev. But man, that was not a good idea. Like, no matter how you look at it, releasing it with the note of it being possibly released in 10 years, not a good idea.
But I don't even think he even said that. He just said every 6 months, and it was Doug that made the calculation. It came out to about 10 years.
I mean, you can do the simple math yourself, like 20 times 10.
He said on his Steam page, 5 to 8 years.
Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Who's gonna wait 5 to 8 years for an RPG Maker game?
Oh, I know who, One Man Indie.
To be fair, though, my game's been kind of on that same time spectrum, too. I think I started in earnest in 2018.
You're different because you release filler games in between.
Yeah, you release side games. And what's your game? Does it even cost
part
anything?
of the main store, like it's an introduction to the main game. So you don't count. You don't count, sir.
Well, I did try to do it in a way that I could release something while developing what I've got right now, and then that something is a self-contained story that leads into the larger story. So that's kind of how that's the strategy I chose to take with my game. But
Ricky, I'm not debating the 10-year thing. Like, if it takes 10 years, it takes 10 years.
Yeah, that's fine. It's the early access that's the problem.
When you release an early access and you say, hey, you know, this is an early access game, but I want to let you know it's going to be 8 years before you get the full game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sorry. And then you take something like Deep 8, which was 17 years. That game was 17 years.
Yeah, but was it released to the public to play?
It was
game on late access.
Late access. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. You gotta buy the DLC first before you can play the main game. It's late access.
Oh, okay, all right. Look. All right. Look. As a man who also understands the situation he's talking about, because I'm going to be releasing my game through DLC episodes. I'm working on episode 2 right now. I have episode 1 out. And while in the process of doing that, you know, I'm going to actually be updating the episode 0 so you can get a sneak peek of some of the stuff that's in there. So I'm still, I can see what you're saying. Yes. If you don't, I guess if you're not going to be as expressive about, number one, the dev process and the dev journey about it and the updates with it and everything else, yeah, I can kind of see where people may forget about it, may kind of fall into the slush pile of everything else that's happening, because especially with life. But I think a story that's told over that long of a time and that kind of a period, it can, over time, it can build a fan base. If it's done right and it's done consistently, if you're consistent with it, I think you still can get something done with it. I think you can.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can, but you have to like be very active on the marketing part, like constantly over the years, and you'd have to release like behind the scenes content and I don't know the making of, like the drawing parts of it and whatnot. Like, you gotta constantly release some kind of thing about the game, otherwise people are not gonna care.
And I think he's doing a pretty good job of it so far from his Facebook page. Honestly,
I want to play this game. I really want to play this game to the end. Like I'm hooked on the game. I like it. You know what I mean? But I'm just speaking for real. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm following Facebook. I'm following the Facebook page. You know what I mean? I see a lot of cool stuff, you know, like the music making, the drawing, the pictures. He has a lot of content for releases, like art releases and stuff like that. He has a lot of content already. But my thing is I feel like, for an early access game, I feel like we needed a little bit more content, to really consider it an early access game for me. You know what I mean? I felt like it was too short and it's more likely a demo than an early access.
I don't know. I would have, if I did early access with this game, I would have probably made all the art first and then make this game in the state it is right now, and then call it early access, because the art is clearly the thing that makes everything take so long. So before I even announce this game, I would finish all the art things and then make an early access and then release episodes in I don't know, a month or two. Because the art is already done. You just gotta make the thing, which is not hard because it's mostly just running around in dialogue.
Yeah, 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months. That would
have been a good thing, right? It's 2 to 3 months. You get a new episode, maybe, I don't know, 2 hours of gameplay, whatever, and then move on to the next episode, 2 hours of gameplay, 1-2 months. That would have been good, but the fact that you have to do all the art before you can even start making the thing, the episode, the chapter, or whatever, I would have done the art first. I mean, you clearly already know where you want to go with the game, I would assume. So why not make the art first and then announce an early access, and not the other way around?
Well, I can kind of understand though, because for me, because I don't plan anything out when I'm making my games, and sometimes you have to kind of do it all at once for it to come together. I have to. Yeah, so it's like sometimes I might not even be able to make the next part in my story if I don't have the right music track. So I'm literally okay, I need the right music track. Where is it?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm not saying I don't understand him, but it's not a good approach. I mean, you don't plan, I don't plan either, but neither of us is going out there and putting an early access for 10 years on Steam.
Oh yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, I actually just give out free keys out on the back end and hey, try this out, see if there's any problems, blah blah blah. But I don't want to release it till it's done. That's basically where I'm at.
Yeah, and I feel that's the better approach. But if you were to make an early access and you already know the art is gonna take you 6 months per chapter, then I would go and make all the art for the game first and then announce an early access game, because what you can do then is release episodes or chapters much faster because the art already exists. Of course, you might have to add something new because your idea changed a bit, or you have to do some edits and whatnot. But the general bulk of the art would already exist, and you could release chapters much faster than that.
Yeah, I guess.
No, man, that probably could be. That's probably.
I mean, it's not the game making part that's taking so long here. Everybody can write dialogue. That's not hard. That's fast. And the combat system is easily done too. Just bash in some stats and that's it. It's clearly the art that's taking so long. There's nothing else that would possibly take up all this time.
He did that, but yet you still find it unsatisfactory, man. So apparently,
yeah, of course, but I'm not the only person on the internet. I don't have to like this game. There's clearly still other people around, because the dev said he released it only because people demanded to play it. So it doesn't matter if I like the game, but if you wanted to keep your fans engaged in a better way, then you should have done the art first in order to release chapters quicker. It doesn't matter if I like it or not.
Okay. I can see what you're saying though. If he had done that first, then. But then the thing about it here is that he literally would have to do the art for the whole entire game.
Yeah. I mean, if you release an early access, I would expect you to know where your game is going.
But sometimes I don't know that could be. I don't know about that one, because it's like
it's just one approach. It's just one approach to speed up the development process. Like, all right, you got this early access thing right now. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what about you just don't release a chapter in 6 months and focus like a year entirely on making the art for this game, and then start releasing chapters, because then you can start release the chapters quicker. You can release a chapter in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, I don't know. Even if you went for 3 months, that's still only half the time you announced on the early access, just by focusing on what takes the longest to make for 1 year.
You know what? I can kind of see I can see
it's one year of time investment to focus intensely on the art in order to cut the release date of the rest of the game in half. I think that's pretty much worth it. I don't know.
That's something to consider. I can definitely see the value in trying something like that. I can see that. Now, maybe with the schedule, maybe he might not be able to do that, but I can see the validity behind that. I can.
Yeah, it's just an idea. I mean, you can do whatever you wanted to do. I already own the game, so I don't give a shit.
You want to say something, Doug?
Yeah, no. It's also too. Sometimes it's like how it flows, right? So so everybody's brain is different, and see, for me, I could never actually do that, where I can think up all the art ahead of time and just do that first, and then start, like, it does help to make a lot of art ahead of time, but sometimes I don't even know what I'm trying to make until I get to the scenario point. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I don't even know what the next city is going to look like, or who the next villain's going to be, or what the backstory is that inspires me to even make that piece of art. So sometimes there's some of that in play too. At least for me, anyway, when I'm developing.
Absolutely, it's the same for me, but that's why we're not professionals.
Yeah.
But if you release an early access game, you kind of have to be a little bit professional with it, right? I would at least assume so.
I don't know. I mean, we're all trying to figure this thing out. All right.
Yeah, of course. That's why I'm giving the idea. Like, it's something to consider. If you already planned your game out, doing the art first might help, like, cutting the release date of the game massively.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, now we come down to the point where we give the RTP suggested retail price for the game. And so now we're going to start off with our favorite German here, and we're going to go based on your experience so far, from what you have seen, played, everything else. What is the price? What's your price, brother? Come on.
Man, what can I say? Like, the game looks so great. I really dig the art style and I really dig the music, but for me, if a game just drags on for no reason, I wouldn't play it. I stopped playing it. I didn't finish it, so I wouldn't buy it.
So you
and if I read 10 years release date, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't even think about buying it, to be honest.
So you paid $0, so you wouldn't even buy it.
Yeah. I wouldn't even consider buying it. Looking at the Steam page, I don't have time to wait for that long for a game. If I'm browsing the store, I'm looking for something to play right now. not in 10 years. So if I read this game is gonna not be out for 6 to 10 years, I'm not gonna buy it. Maybe I come across it like in 5 years of time, and maybe then I'll buy it if there's enough content in there, but not right now.
Sheesh. All right. Okay, Doug, you going ahead?
I actually agree with the price that's on the Steam on the main Steam page, the $4.99. I agree with that price as the developers put down. I don't agree with the strategy of increasing the price over time. I think Steam might even have something that doesn't. I think Steam might not even let you do that as far as like on the back end. Like I actually haven't seen many games that they start off at like.
Oh, that's common practice with early access, to be honest.
Do they let you change the price to a higher price with early access?
You can change the price to whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, I could sell Tiki's Escape for $100 tomorrow, no problem.
Yeah. All right. Well, I didn't know that. I thought that you couldn't go back up after you've already gone down. But in any case, I agree with the current price that it is $4.99.
All right. Now D7. What you say, brother?
Right, before I give my price, I probably want to give the developer a suggestion.
Okay.
What they can do. Instead of like just having your players do attack, you know, if that's the basis of the game, that's fine. But you know, for some characters, give them like unleash abilities, like unleash attacks, based on probably the weapons they have and you know how much HP they got, so they could do something different from time to time to keep it interesting. You know what I mean? Even though we don't have no skills, you know, unleash abilities, unleash attacks. Like you could create an action sequencing for the Titan. You know, if he get an unleash ability, he'll like do like a jump. Ground slam, you know what I mean, and hits all enemies, you know what I mean. That's pretty cool, you know, for unleash ability, a regular attack, you know, that happen once in a while, you know, they kind of add some spice to the game. But I think $4.99 is a good price, you know, for early access price, you know, but I actually see this game going as high as $20. Woo! But you know, I do. No, I'm just saying, like, with all, he even said that it's going to be higher with each chapter release. So you got to look at it being close to $20, especially with the custom art and the custom music. Like everything is not RT. I don't think anything's going to be RTP except the sound effects, which you should change too. Change the sound effects.
Fucking sound effects, man. Why?
But if this game was a fully fledged game, and it keeps the same, you know, build to it, like the exploration. Cause I had a blast in the town, you know, where the castle at. I had a blast exploring, finding items in the clock. Then you got little Easter eggs in the game as well. So, you know, you're doing a great job developing. So I would, for a full-fledged game, I'd probably pay $9.99 for this. For a full game. Like how much, chapters, everything. $9.
So $8.99?
$9.99, $10.
$9.99. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
I would just like to interject. So we normally rate the amount by where it's at right now. So I would concur with D7 that if this got done, I would be willing to pay $9.99 for it. But
early access $4.99. Yeah, early access $4.99. Full game $9.99.
Okay, so we're gonna go do what we have right now. So you also will pay $4.99 for it. Okay. So now based on my experience with it, based on how I played it, it's a little area here and there that kind of would need to be tweaking, and it's mostly going to be in combat, especially with the boss battle. That was a little bit of a letdown. I think about maybe $3.99. $3.99 I think would be a good price for this. for what we have here. So we added this all up together, divide it by 4. We come up to $349, almost $350 for the price. So it's a bit underneath what he's already offering here, but it's still around about the same price. So we're still, so the $499 is still a good price for it. Still a good price for it, all in all, for that. So I hope that the developer did hear that. I hope he did take advantage of what we were saying here. I myself personally, I definitely would have liked to see a little bit more variety in the actual attacks that the enemies did. Even if they didn't move. If they didn't move, I had no problem with them not moving. I have no issue with that. But I think if you had some kind of techniques that were just different from them just attacking all the time, so it makes the player have to consider how they're going to face the opponents coming up in front of them and how they're going to deal with them. After that point, I think that definitely would have made things a little bit more fun, especially your boss. The first boss that you come to, and I forget what it was. What was that doggone thing? It was on a bridge or something like that, I believe. No, not on the bridge. Where was that doggone thing? I forget where it was. Who the boss was that you had to fight.
Yeah, the first one was at the bridge, like where you meet the medic guy. Comes running down a huge creature. That was on the bridge, yeah.
Yeah. So now, with that guy right there, what I would have done for him, right? You already had the ads, that's fine. But for him, I think either A, give him some immunity to stone, seeing how you already have it there. I think if I did not have stone, then that boss probably could have been maybe a little bit more problematic, I think it could have been. No? You don't think so?
No, I just attacked him. Like I said, I had no skills at that point. I just spammed the space bar, just attack. Throw some ibuprofen every now and then attack. It's not challenging at all. It's no problem.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you want to try to make that boss maybe at least a little bit more difficult for that. Because I had stone, so I just turned into stone, and then we just wailed on them, and that was it. We took care of the ads. Once the ads were done, like once I turned into stone, the ads were easy at that point because we just one shot those guys, and then we just deal with him at our leisure. So, you might want to tweak those boss battles just to make them a little bit more different, a little bit more challenging, so it's not so easy to cheese. Aside from that, though, I mean, the world that you had was great. The story you had was great. The art was awesome. The music was awesome. You have like so many great pieces that you have with this game that definitely would want to make somebody want to actually see how far the story could go and what would be in it. I would definitely say, just don't make. I would suggest do not make any really significant or weird kind of changes to your characters and everything else, and just fix the technical stuff. The small couple of technical stuff that you can do here, the boss battles, that's going to just take maybe a little bit of tweaking. You're going to have to play it. You're going to have to get other people to play it and see how the boss feels or your bosses. And I think once you've gotten a good feedback on how the bosses fight, and you've added a little bit more variety to the enemies that you're facing, just a random, guess, quote unquote trash mobs or whatever. I think what you'll have here with it, because you have a lot of opportunity to add a lot of quirkiness, a lot of uniqueness to the game through the battles with your regular enemies. Like, say, if I added, I'll say for myself, my game, Slime Kingdom, I added this the state animation thing with the game, and when the enemies miss, I had this great big oops that just flashes up over it. Now, it's a small thing, but I think it adds a little bit of pizzazz to it. It's like, oh, he missed. And it's more than just showing it through the actions. You're actually putting a little bit of polish on it, a little bit more panache on it, as you will. A little spin on the ball to kind of make folks remember what they played when they played. If you know what I mean? If all your enemies are just basically just had just a basic attack and nothing else really, then it's like, I mean, even when I fought the Manticores, I wasn't really afraid of any other kind of attack except for when the odd chance when the attack made me poisoned. That was about it. Not that was okay, but there wasn't much else. Like a Manticore has wings, so he doesn't do a wing flap attack. He doesn't do a wing slap. He has that big old tail. He doesn't do like a sting attack. He doesn't do a tail trip. He doesn't do anything else. Just bite. He didn't even do a bite. He just attacked. You see what I'm saying? There were so many things that you could have done to make your enemies, number one, more interesting, but also a little bit more memorable. I think once you get that done, I think you got it.
Yep, I agree.
I think you would have, but I for one am going to keep rooting for you as a guy who's also in the same boat as you. So I'm definitely going to be rooting for you, and I'm hoping that you keep at it. I know life sometimes can intervene, and it is, but I'm going to be rooting for you. I'm still going to be following you on Facebook. You already have me on there. D7 is going to be following you, I think. So I, for one, personally, I'm hoping that you do keep going. And I am hoping that maybe in a few years from now, when the game is completed and people will be playing it, and they're like, hey, man, I enjoyed it. It was worth the wait. I think, yeah, it was worth the wait. I want to hear Harlequin say, you know what, after all that, yeah, it was worth the wait. It was worth the wait. I want to hear that happen.
Yeah,
Hey.
It's not gonna happen, man. I won't even remember this game like in 2 weeks. What are you talking about? I'm not gonna, unless I happened to see it again in like 6 months, whenever the episode 2 drops, because I don't know, Omi posted it on the Discord and told me, oh, look at this cool shit. Then I might check it out again, but unless I randomly see it again somewhere, I'm just gonna not remember it.
I don't know. Oh man, that's come on, man.
Man, for me, this game is a whole big wasted opportunity.
I don't know, man.
You got the professional look on it, right? The art style is unique and great. Yeah, the characters are great. The writing is great. But the gameplay is so bad that I couldn't even finish the demo. Because I just stopped caring at one point. Like, I don't want to fight these fucking enemies anymore. I just want to see where it goes. And yeah, it just drags down because the combat is just that bad. It just drags out for no reason. It doesn't need to be there. Either make it good or make it go away.
Yeah, I think that it's a totally repairable issue, and I still think it is.
Absolutely, I'm not saying abandon your project or anything.
No, but I think it would take some simple tweaks, maybe a couple plugins or whatever, and you could make this a very fun battle system. Like, so, I mean, it's I think they got a lot of stuff right. I do think that I hope that I'm sure the developer will watch this whole video and will take our feedback into account, and I would also advise you guys, if you want, to help by leaving some Steam reviews too.
Yeah, man.
It'll once they get to 10 Steam reviews, of course, because you got the keys for free, they show up as the less priority ones, but it's still helps.
They don't count though. They don't count for the 10.
They do if you click on reviews themselves, like the whole thing, but not the little one
they don't,
on the front page.
They don't count for the 10 you need for the visibility.
I understand, but
I mean, I don't know if they want my negative review though. I'd probably just not write anything.
Yeah,
I think this game did everything right, but everything that's combat related. Everything that's combat related is ass in my opinion. Everything else is awesome.
Well, then just write that.
Yeah, it's just right that. But the problem is combat is like the biggest part of this game. Is the thing you do most aside from running around.
All right. D7, you got kind of quiet. With anything you wanted to say, bro?
Nah.
All right. Okay. So
I'm good. I said what I had to say. I said what I had to say.
As with all good things, this must also come to an end. So I want to thank everybody who came out today. I want to thank those who will be listening to this on the back end with the replay on YouTube, and also the edited version, which will also be on Spotify, which is on Transmission of the Yomiverse. I've gotten 3 more listeners to it, and I'm thankful for those 3. So I'm also a total of 4. We got 96 more to go. If you just stop by, just listen. All you got to do is listen. You ain't got to pay nothing, but it actually moves the brother further to actually get monetized with it. And I can actually help to keep putting out more good content like this and other stuff that you may enjoy as well. So I'm going to leave a link to that down in the, put it in either the first pinned comment or in the description for this. Make sure to follow all these brothers on YouTube and wherever else they're going to be. I know Harlequin's got a Kickstarter coming up soon. How long do we have to wait for the Kickstarter, bro?
I'm not sure, really. Like, it depends on the artist, man. It's pretty much just the art I'm waiting for right now.
Okay, so he got his Kickstarter coming out soon. D7 is he's working on this game, even though he's not really going to be doing any dev streams, and I don't know why, but fine. And Doug is still working on Starship Rebellion, and he has his almost day-long day shift dev streams on his channel. So the RTP is getting it done. We're getting things going. We got projects going on. So I hope that you support us all in what we do here. I want to thank you again for coming out. I hope you have a great day, a great week, and God willing, we will see you again on the other side. And on that note, folks, we're done.
We're done. Everybody go home now. It's over. Nothing to see here.
How mean.
Oh,
I'm ashamed. I am ashamed.